What's up everybody? Welcome to Wakamoto. Today we're gonna weld the seat. Okay, so what today's job is gonna be is make this seat actually fit on there properly. So to do that, we're going to first clean out everything here. So take out all the electronics, take out this plastic fender, and then we're going to start measuring things out such that we can cut the frame and weld this on right about here. We'll measure out exactly where. So we're going to cut the frame here. We're probably going to not cut the top layer of this off so that the pipe actually fits into it, and then weld everything on. Then we're going to take a look at the seat and how the brackets on it actually fit on here, and whether or not we need to make some new tabs to attach things. And yeah, so here we go. First things first, take off all the electronics. Okay, step number one is done. All the electronics are out. I fished out the back part of the harness and the, what is this? Some sort of big capacitor looking thing. Sure, something. So that we're just gonna keep on the side like this right now. Now to remove this guy, and then we're gonna start measuring things out. We're gonna use the other bike to do some practice with, and let's see where it goes. Okay, fender is off as well. If you know where to pry, it comes off really easy. If you don't, you're going to be scratching your head for a long time. So the way it actually fits in there, I feel like I should point this out, is it's like so. These pieces here wrap around the frame like this. These bolts back here are kind of snapped in place like that. But the one thing that isn't very obvious is these back bolts here. They actually have these protruding grooves that fit into these holes. And if you're not aware of this, it seems like this thing is just welded to the frame. But you just put a flathead in here, pry it a little bit, pops right off. Okay, so this is what we're gonna do. I put on the bracket that came with the seat just to see how we're gonna attach it here. It seems like the best option would just be to kind of hook it under. In order to do that, I'm just gonna slightly tighten it just so this thing doesn't move. Go straight. It goes under there. Doesn't really go anywhere after that. Okay, so we have kind of we can measure the length more or less this way. So we can definitely say that with the loop, this thing, we need it to sit under the seat, right? So we're looking at the bars coming to about here, so where the first mounting point here is. So if we're going all the way to there, it's pretty safe to assume that we need to cut it at least out here, so just after these support bars, much like the way we have it on the other bike. And we can see the other bike right here. So essentially we're going to cut that frame the same way that this one is, so that the seat can then, much like the other one, fit under, tuck in, and then we're going to fashion something to deal with that situation. And then we're going to probably cut this and practice on this one before doing the other one. So first things first, let's cut that frame. Alright, time to cut it off. Safety first, gloves, glasses. I put an old towel on here just so all the sparks don't end up damaging anything else or catching anything on fire. I put green tape here just so I know where to cut. It doesn't have to be exact. We will work it out afterwards. does seem to be spraying up in my face. Okay, so frame is cut off. This will need a little bit of grinding on the ends, but either way we're probably gonna end up cutting it just across like this and taking off this entire top part. So cutting along this weld and then up here so that we can have the loop just sit on there. Okay, so what I've done is I've stuck the loop inside of the frame. Put the seat on with the bracket in the front, and I'm just pressing it down and trying to adjust for the length of the loop. So right now I think this should be good. I like the fact that it protrudes a little bit. It's not too hidden, and plus we're gonna put that LED strip on the back. So, well, maybe we can move it a little bit further in. Yeah, like that, and then the LED strip would fit right there. And then we'll need to find a way to attach that further. And yeah, so that's kind of how it's gonna fit. So what I'll do now is I'll mark the loop right here on the outside, and then I'll take it out, see how far it goes inside, mark the spot here, and then see how we're gonna cut that off. Okay, so I marked up the loop right here when I was sitting under the seat. Now if we line that up with the edge of the frame here, we see we're coming up to just above that first mounting hole. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our X-Acto knife, mark that as well. So, and yeah, so essentially we're going to cut across here, and then we're going to cut across here and here, essentially taking out that half pipe top off. Then what we're going to do is the loop will sit in there, in that groove. We're going to weld the ends of it against the pipe here, and then follow along the edges, welding all around. And then I'll see how that looks. If I'm not too happy with that, I'll take that remaining piece of the half pipe that I have from the top, weld that on top to just kind of complete the look. Okay, so to further explain what I'm actually going to do is, I just cut the frame on the old bike. So I've done a cut on this side, across, and then on the other side as well. So that piece comes off. So we have this half pipe piece, right? Now when we take the loop, the idea is that I will fit it like so in there. I will weld across here, down these sides, and under here. And then we'll smooth everything out, and we should be good. I don't think we're going to need to weld this thing back on top like this. I think once I do those welds on the sides across like that, it's going to be quite thick, so it's going to be hard to, like, I'm going to have to essentially grind away the welds in order to weld this thing on top, so no point for that. Okay, frame is cut, and after about half an hour of trying to bend this thing into proper shape, kind of finally have it. I can hammer it in place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grind off all the paint from the part that's going to be welded. Clean up these cuts here just so I can actually weld properly on them. Do some practice welding on the other one. So what I'll try to do is literally weld this piece back in place, and that'll be my practice welding. And then we're going to weld this one. And then do a little bit of cleanup, start putting stuff back on. Okay, so after grinding down the bar and putting it back in place, that's kind of what it's looking like. I'm just gonna take off the tape from here and get some, grind down these edges a little, just so we can make sure the weld properly holds. And yeah, so now I'm gonna test the welder on the other bike, see if I can weld anything back. Okay, this is gonna be first attempt at welding. I got my trusty little welder over here. I have no clue what the voltage setting and the wire feed should be. It's a little MIG welder, but we're about to find out. So, there we go. There. We got nothing happening. Okay, so my problem was that the welder was plugged into the an outlet that is on an arc fault protected circuit. So anytime an arc happens, it obviously turns off. Yeah. So let's try this now. Hopefully this works. Alright, so let's see. First weld ever. So I got this done. I mean, it looks horrible, but it's on there. Let's see, this is supposed to be the type of so this was obviously harder because it was a straight edge. On the other bike, I think it will have a little bit easier time because it's going to be a little bit more straighter. Now, I do feel like I'm bouncing about a lot. Now, I don't know if that's just not hot enough. I mean, this is what, 3mm? So maybe I need 3mm. Need like FJ. Let's try it on here, see what happens. Okay, so trying it out on the higher setting of G, it seemed to melt a lot faster and a lot smoother. So I think the sweet spot is gonna be like E. And I think we're good to start welding on the other bike. Okay, so here we have the other bike. Loop is in place. And we're gonna try to weld it. So, there we go. So, my first Bismo weld. It's gonna take a little bit more practice and fine tuning, but not bad. We just need to, I'll probably weld another layer, and then I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, welding is done. It's solid, it's not going anywhere. I'm gonna have to grind it down, smooth it out, and we should be good. In terms of fitment, let's see how the seat fits. Yep, spot on. Okay, so yeah, now to just grind it down. Okay, after grind it down, welds look pretty good. I mean, good enough. They're not perfect. And this is honestly my first weld job, so I'm happy with the way it turned out. Now to start putting stuff back in and cutting the fender to see how we're gonna fit stuff in there. Before I start putting stuff back on, just a little look check. Yeah, it looks good. I like it. I like it a lot. The bike definitely has the look I was looking for. Perfect. Okay, so the first problem is the fender obviously doesn't fit back in here. This can't go back up because it's too high. So I'm gonna use my Dremel kit and cut it to shape so it fits in here, and see how we're gonna go from there. Alright, fender's modified. Cut off the top piece. Still got this protection here so that all the electronics don't get dirty. And the seat will fit just right on top of that. Yeah. Okay, now to get the rest of the electronics back on and wrap it up for today. Okay, electronics are all back in place. The rear light box, we'll need to figure out a better place for this. For now, I'm just gonna let it hang kind of like above over here. The idea being that it will probably end up going in the box at the bottom, but all this should be nice and flush, tucked away, such that when we put the seat on, we have actually, let me unplug it for now. There we go. The cafe racer is finally taking some sort of shape. In the next episode, I'll look into finalizing the brackets for the seat so that could actually be hard mounted on there. And I figured out that my speedo isn't working, and I believe that the reason for that is because I've wired it to the cable that comes out of this guy. So there is a speed sensor that has a cable plugging into this, and then another cable coming out of this going into the old speedometer. Now it seems like this thing changes the signal to match whatever the old speedometer needs, so I'm gonna have to splice the cable coming out of the speed sensor and see if that will give this guy the right feed for what it needs. And yeah, so that is it. I mean, things are looking pretty good. I quite like it. We'll need some more cleanup, but getting very close to actually being finished enough to be safetied. So we'll see how that goes. I did drop the clip-ons further down just for comfort, because when they were up high it felt very stretched to try to ride that way, but I'll still need to fiddle around with the aesthetics and try to get it to be better. And yeah, so that is it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to click the subscribe and the little bell for notifications when new videos become available. Like I said, next videos are going to be focusing on hard mounting that seat, some more electrical work, finishing up things and tidying them up in the front, and dealing with the aesthetics. And the bike should be almost ready to be taken for safety. So thanks for watching again, and see you next time.